One.
Welcome, everybody, to the Brevard Sports Network here for the spring edition of Friday Night Lights here on the network. I am Jackson Robb. Alongside me tonight behind the camera and on the mic is Kayla Brown. And, well, it's the last day of school for everyone here in Brevard County, but we got spring football to play here tonight at Space Coast Junior Senior High as the Vipers are hosting the Father Lopez Green Wave here in spring football action. We also have Jamboree action going on right now, already started and rolling on the Brevard Sports Network between Melbourne, MCC, and John Carroll Catholic. But back here to Space Coast, this one should be a good one. You got Father Lopez, a 1A team coming off a 2-8 season, up against now a second-year independent Space Coast team coming off a 1-8 season, but under a new head coach, but a familiar head coach in Coach Jake Owens.
You know, we were here when they made the announcement that Jake Owens was coming back to Space Coast, and you know what? It's good to see Jake Owens on the sidelines, coaching a team that he's coached before. Truly is awesome.
So we're going to do the national anthem here, and we'll be back in just a moment to give you more breakdown of this spring matchup. And we are back here following the national anthem. And, you know, this is a spring game I'm definitely interested in. There's plenty going on around the county, you know, before we head on into the fall for kickoff classics. But, you know, Space Coast is a team that I haven't personally seen in recent years. And, again, I mentioned they made that move to the Sunshine State Athletic Conference last season. You know, didn't have a great first year, but, you know, it's a transition year. This team already noticeably has seen more numbers out here. As you can see, their roster getting deeper. Again, they bring back Jake Owens, the head coach. And, again, this is a move we're seeing teams start to do more. We saw Satellite do it a lot earlier in the 2010s. They came back, had their best year in school history once they moved back to FHSAA competition. You're seeing Cocoa Beach do that right now, and that program kind of get rejuvenated. And now Space Coast doing the same. So that's a move, you know, we're seeing a lot more of recently, but I think it's a smart move by Space Coast to move down to Sunshine State Athletic Conference. They're still playing 12-man football, still playing. They can still play FHSAA teams. It really doesn't change much. It just gives you an opportunity to play competition to your level and can go out there and, you know, build these rosters capable of going out and winning in FHSAA competition. So, again, a big year for Space Coast here. Brings back head coach Jake Owens, who, you know, Jake Owens is a guy you may know from his Palm Bay days most recently, but he started his first tenure was at Space Coast. As this is, as I mentioned, second tenure at Space Coast. His first was all the way back in 2012 when he took over 2 games into the season for Space Coast in 2012, and he would go on to win 25 games with a record of 8-4 in 2013. So Jake found some success here at Space Coast back in the early 2010s. He would go on to have winning seasons in 2013 and 2014, and he is the winningest head coach in Space Coast history. And you know, under Jake Owens, they beat Rockledge, they beat Orlando Jones, and they were 3-2 against Titusville. So, you know, this is a move we've seen teams make. You know, kind of bringing back a head coach that is one of the best in school history. For the case of Owens, he is the winningest in Space Coast history, and you know, we'll see if Jake can come back here to Space Coast and bring this program back to a high level.
You know, and like you said, to me, some of the key things that in making this move, you go down to the Sunshine State Athletic Conference, is if you're going to rebuild, you start at the youth level. And again, we saw that with Satellite. And now you're seeing some of the fruits of that labor. You know, the Noah Floreses of the world, now that played for Satellite Beach, you know, youth are now playing for Satellite. And right now, Space Coast has a great youth program. The Space Coast Panthers are truly a fantastic program to watch and keep your eye on in the youth divisions. I believe they play out of the MYFC or the MFY. I forget. We broadcast 4 or 5 different leagues, so I can't remember which one they're in, but they're in a very competitive youth league as well. And again, if they can keep them home, as you see the Vipers coming into the Viper pit, but if they can keep some of that homegrown talent home, if they can keep their guys here and coming here, Jake Owens has a great program to feed into his high school program and truly build this into a program that can be seen with a winning pedigree.
What I like with the Jake Owens hiring is you look back at what he did at Palm Bay. That team was starting to kind of struggle a little bit more. I mean, when he took over, they were 1-7 in 2020 and 2-7 in 2019. And Palm Bay was also in a competitive area, looking with the Heritage and the Baysides down there. Space Coast is competing with the Cocoa, Rockledge, the Titusvilles as well, and even Astronaut coming up as well. So I think that's what Jake Owens has done well, especially at Palm Bay, was kind of being able to compete with other teams in the area to get that talent and keep talent around. And that's something Space Coast will be looking to do. As I mentioned, the numbers looking good on the sideline as we're going to get set to kick off here in this one. Something already different than what we saw with our last Jamboree with Satellite and Holy Trinity, is we will have kickoffs here. Which is good to see in the spring.
We'll have kickoffs, but I don't think they're live.
As there is a kickoff, it will be downed at about the 11-yard line, and that's where Father Lopez will start this game. Again, Father Lopez now in 1A Region 5. And coming down I-95 up from Daytona Beach. Again, 2-8 season last year. Father Lopez went 0-2 against Brevard County. As I believe back when it was 1S, I think they played in the same region as Holy Trinity and MCC, as they were 0-2 against those two programs last year. Just for the familiar faces in Brevard County to kind of compare against. And again, they finished 2-8 last season. Again, now with the realignment, they are in 1A Region 5 this season. And that region is Crescent City, Father Lopez, Halifax Academy, and Taylor are the 4 programs in that region. As it'll be first down and 10 for Father Lopez. That'll actually start at their own 20-yard line, or 25, for first down and 10. 2 receivers split to the far side, 1 near with 1 running back. It'll be a play fake to start. Quarterback rolls out off his back foot, completes to the outside, and that's going to go for a first down. As Colt Davis completes to Ben Walczyk. And it's going to be first down and 10. Nice start for Father Lopez on a quick tight end out completion on the run. That's a good pass by Davis, the freshman quarterback.
It's really nice to see them kind of roll out and kind of throw the ball. And a lot of times, first play of spring, you kind of go to that bread and butter, run play. So it's nice to see a little play action to start the game out, start the spring game out.
Strong run, catch and run for 10 yards, gets them first down and 10 at their own 35 for the Green Wave. Davis is in the shotgun. He'll hand off this time, trying to find a hole. Nowhere to go there, as that's going to go for no gain. Brought down there by number 25 for Space Coast, Alex Banikowski.
Banikowski going both ways, listed as a linebacker and a receiver. So
makes a good play there on the running back. Number 25, Nick Viscami, also a freshman. So for Father Lopez, you got a freshman quarterback and a freshman running back. So a young core up for the Green Wave here. Second down, and it's actually going to be second down and 11 here, back to their own 35-yard line. Two receivers split far, same set as it was on their first play of the game, with two receivers far, one near with a running back. As it's going to be a handoff again, right up the middle. Good yardage this time, up to the 40. As that one was carried by Maverick Grimm, also a freshman for Father Lopez. As he picks up 6 yards or 5 yards, and it's going to be third down and 6 for Father Lopez from their own 40-yard line. And you see him after the first down play action. They're going to the ground now on back-to-back plays to set up 3rd and 6. I'd like to see him go back to the passing game here, but I mean, you could pick up 6 on the ground, no doubt about it. So we'll see what the call is for Father Lopez. Got one receiver split either side with one on the slot on the far side. He will go in motion. It's going to be a jet touch pass here. The edge is sealed off by Space Coast, and a clothesline tackle for a big loss by Damian Bowder from the defensive back position. That's a huge loss on 3rd down, and that's going to make it 4th and long and force Father Lopez to punt. Great play there by Bowder, closing that edge off.
And you see, he took the correct angle there when he closed off the edge. He made it to where he was shooting for that outside arm. When you shoot for the outside arm, if he goes to cut anywhere, he's going to have to cut inside where you know you have more help behind you. That's what you're going to expect to see out of a Jake Owens coach football team. Nate
Sajor was the one with the ball there off the touch pass, which he bobbled at first, got the ball gathered up. By the time he looked upfield, Bowder
was there to greet him.
As no rush on the punts here, as that'll be Luke Zabak getting it away. Going to be downed by Space Coast, and we'll see the Vipers offense for the first time here as they take over with 1st down and 10. As we'll see how the Vipers come out and look. Again, they're coming off a 1-8 season, but that one win was in their playoff game at the end of the season, so a good way to end it and gather momentum into this season. And we'll see how the Vipers started out here with their first drive of the spring game here against Father Lopez. And I like they're starting out against FHSAA competition as well. And a good, solid Father Lopez team. So we'll see 1st down and 10 Vipers from their own 35-yard line where the ball was downed. It's going to be a handoff right up the gut on 1st down. And going to be a short gain there. It's going to get whistled dead there on the carry by Cole Gamble. Quarterback appears to be number 15, Zion Sandy, who's an 8th grader. I think it's going to be a rising 9th grader. So, that's a young quarterback you could have for 4 more years to come. As Sandy takes the snap, quick throw. It's going to be a screen pass to the outside. Good blocking in front. 1st down and more for Space Coast on the catch and run by E.J. Klauser. 1st down, Space Coast up to the 50-yard line. Nice little screen pass, but the MVP of that play is the blocking up front. Klauser had all the room he needed to run and get the 1st down and more there. That sets up the Vipers at the 50-yard line.
And then the second part of that is when you run those screen plays, you got to get the block from the receivers, and that's what you got there. Locking up your man and not holding.
Hand off right up the gut again. Nowhere to go that time whatsoever. We'll see if Forward Progress gets him back to the line of scrimmage because he ended up going down about 3 yards behind it. And they will say Forward Progress keeps him at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd down and 10 off the run by Cole Gamble on 1st. So far, the run been pretty well stopped by Father Lopez.
The Green Wave doing a good job on the run plays, winning the line of scrimmage and getting penetration, forcing Gamble to try to do some thinking.
Same formation, trips to the near side, one receiver far. Quarterback rolls out right, throws. It's hauled in by his running back for no gain. Again, it's Father Lopez all over it on the catch by E.J. Klauser on the rollout pass by Sandy. And it's going to be 3rd down and 10 here for Father Lopez at the 50 on the near hash. As you can see the clock up there on your screen. And the score still 0-0, 6:45 to go in the 1st quarter. As it's a play fake, it's going to be a screen again on 3rd and 10. Not as good blocks here, still on his feet, breaking up the middle of the field, still pushing. And not going to be a first down, but not too far from it either on the screen pass. I believe to number 3, Caden Thomas hauls it in. And I like their quick tempo. Space Coast going for it. 4th down and 4 from the Father Lopez 44-yard line. Good field position to go for it, especially on your opening drive. No deep safety for Father Lopez here. Trips far side this time as they invert the formation ahead of 4th down and 4 for Space Coast. Zion Sandy rolls out right. Has space. He lets it fly. Down the field is open. It's tipped. Caught. Down the sideline. Touchdown Space Coast. 44-yard strike from a Zion Sandy all the way down the field to Alex Banikowski. And that's a 4th down to a touchdown for Space Coast, and that's great focus by Banikowski downfield because it was bobbled, it was tipped up in the air. He hauls it in, takes off, and touchdown Space Coast strikes first with 5:39 to go in the first quarter. Nice throw by Sandy on the run, downfield. He got that one about 30 yards downfield, and the rest of the way, the last 15 yards, Banikowski bobbled it, hauls it in, and takes it all the way off the tip drill. The extra point is up and good by Lucas Paul.
And Jackson, you made note, Father Lopez had nobody deep. That means one-on-one. And look, the DB played that. I mean, you can't play that any better except you just got to execute.
Yeah.
You know, if it's going to tip, you want to tip and tip it down. Or in his case, you really want to make that pick because he had some green grass in front of him.
Absolutely. And, again, just great focus there by Banikowski. Once that ball stays in the air and you're under it, making sure you can haul it in and take off to the races. And that goes from 4th down, where you're looking to get the first down all the way into the end zone. So that's a 44-yard play from a Zion Sandy up ahead to Alex Banikowski for the touchdown. Midway through the first quarter of action, it's 7-0 Space Coast. Great start after a really good defensive stop as well.
I think a timeout might be being taken.
Possibly here, as team's still on the sideline. But Banikowski, he made that play on defense as well from the linebacker position. You talked about him going both ways there. He made a good tackle for no gain on Father Lopez, and then, going on offense, he goes 44 yards for the score. So Banikowski making plays so far on both sides of the ball.
And again, that tip drill requires so much concentration. Look, it's so easy when you see it getting tipped and you see it coming towards you. You start looking up to see, can I go? Concentrated, made the catch, then turn around, knowing the defense, there's no safety behind you. Take off, young fella.
Also, it's easy to watch the ball right into your hands, but once it gets redirected, then you gotta kind of recalibrate yourself to know where the ball's at and where you need to be. Set to kick off again. I think if the ball's dropped inside the 25, it's equivalent of a touchback from what I gathered on the first kickoff. As another boot will drop at the 15-yard line. It's tipped, and that's going to roll all the way down to the 1-yard line. We'll see where Father Lopez starts out. As Tristan Carmichael was back there to down it. And Father Lopez will take over from their own 25-yard line once again. It's where they started their first drive. Were able to get one first down. On their second set of downs, were forced to punt by the Space Coast defense. And we'll see now down 7 if the Green Wave can get something going on offense.
I'll tell you what, the Green Wave up front actually look bigger than Space Coast. They got a pretty nice size O-line for a 1A school.
You saw that on their D-line, too. They were winning it on all the run plays.
Yeah.
First down and 10. Father Lopez from their own 25-yard line, trailing 7-0 now, ahead of drive number 2 of the game. Space Coast showing blitz. They bring it. Quarterback with time, throws on an out route. It is dropped by his receiver on the out. A little bit underthrown. Felton got under it, though, just couldn't haul it in. As Colt Davis was targeting his sophomore receiver, Jonathan Felton. And that's going to bring up 2nd down and 10 now for the Green Wave from their own 25. Second down and 10 now for Father Lopez at their own 25. Davis hands off up the gut on 2nd down, bouncing outside. Good blocking. Good block by the receiver to the outside. Goes number 13 for a big 1st down. That is Maverick Grimm, but the big block was made by Nathan Watkins out the receiver position to seal the edge and gets Father Lopez a 1st down.
Again, if there are any young receivers or even those that are playing youth ball, you want to get noticed. Don't get me wrong. You need to make those highlight catches. You need to make the pylon catches and, catch the football. But you really want to catch a scouter's eye, learn and show him that you can block downfield for your teammate. That will get you noticed, I promise you.
It's a gain of 17 on the carry by Grimm. It's going to be 1st down and 10 for Father Lopez up to their own 42-yard line. Colt Davis drops back to pass. He rolls out right. Blitz coming hard. He gets leveled, and the pass is dropped by his tight end, Ben Walczyk. But coming downhill again, a familiar name, Alex Banikowski, to make the hit on the quarterback as he got it away. Falls incomplete again. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for Father Lopez from their own 42-yard line. Father Lopez under head coach Matthew Nasser. And it is 2nd down and 10 now for the Green Wave at their own 42-yard line. Now you see Space Coast not taking after Father Lopez. They do have a safety deep over the top. Well, 10 yards downfield. Actually looking like maybe 2 safeties, cover 2 here possibly for this defense. Corner's not playing press. 2nd down and 10 as it's going to be a handoff here for Father Lopez up the middle. And that's going to go for a loss as Robbie O'Hearn takes his first carry of the game. But again, that's another freshman in that backfield for Father Lopez. A very young team for the Green Wave. As that one will go for a loss of 2 yards, though. Great defense up front by Space Coast. Sets up 3rd down and 12 for Father Lopez back to their own 40. As the first quarter continues to get closer and closer to the end. 4 minutes to go now in the quarter. Second drive of the game here currently going on for Father Lopez. 3rd down and 12 for the Green Wave from their own 40. Colt Davis in the shotgun. Bunch formation here as Davis drops back to pass. Has time to throw this time. Thrown underneath. It's hauled in, turning up field. But a nice tackle down by the ankles by E.J. Klauser after the reception by Jonathan Felton on the out route. And that's going to bring up 4th down and 8 for Father Lopez from their own 44. Now you're in that no man's land between the 40s. We'll see if Father Lopez decides to go for it. Last time they punted on their first drive, but this one still 4th and long, but 4th and manageable at 8. It seems like the Green Wave are going to go for it here on drive number 2 of this game. Now for Space Coast, they scored their touchdown on 4th down. I think Father Lopez would love to kind of copy that script and go right down the field here, but they need 8 yards to get the first, and it'll be 4th down and 8 for Father Lopez from their own 44-yard line. 2 receivers split far. 1 near receiver bunched to the line. 4th down and 8. Father Lopez going for it. Davis drops back. Great blocking up front. That pass broken up right at the line to gain. Incomplete, and that's going to be a turnover on downs. Forced by Damian Bowder. And it's 1st down, Space Coast, as the Vipers force a turnover on downs on Father Lopez. And that's a textbook breakup there, a curl route right at the sticks. You got to watch that. Bowder comes downhill, pops it right as the ball hits the receiver's hands. Great play, no interference. Just a perfect breakup there. And 1st down and 10 now. Space Coast will take over in Green Wave territory.
And like I said, that was played perfectly. He kind of played, 2-3 yards off, allowing the quarterback to think that's a safe throw. What he did, as soon as the quarterback started to launch towards that receiver, he was locked in. Boom, right there, on time.
As I said, the big key there is no interference. You don't get there a second early. You don't draw a penalty. You get there as the ball gets there to make the breakup, and that's huge on 4th down. Now Space Coast will take over at the Father Lopez 44, the exact yard line where they got their touchdown from. Sandy flushed out of the pocket on the run. He'll be taken down at the original line of scrimmage as Zion Sandy looked to take off there as the pocket collapsed, and he'll get it back to the original line of scrimmage, or actually for a loss of 1 yard. It'll be 2nd down and 11 for Space Coast at the Father Lopez 45.
I'd like to thank our sponsor, Florida Breeze Air and Heat. We'll tell you about them in between the quarters, but we like to thank them for stepping up and being a sponsor here on Brevard Sports Network.
2nd down and 11. Trips near side. Sandy's going to throw the screen pass here to the near side, looking to cut up field, and that's going to get him 4 yards, and that's going to bring up 3rd down and 7 off the catch and run by E.J. Klauser. It's a play Space Coast shown a liking to here in this one so far. I think that's the 3rd time they've thrown it. One went for a 1st down, one went for no gain. That one pretty much in the middle with a gain of 4. 3rd down and 7 now for Space Coast at the Father Lopez 41.
But again, for that play to be successful, you need that slot guy looks to be the guy that, they want to get pressed downfield and get blocking. He's got to execute that first block if you're going to have the success on that play.
As on 3rd down, we got a flag down. They're going to go with a run here, which is going to go nowhere. Interesting call there on 3rd down and 7. But we do have a flag down on the far side that was thrown kind of right as the play started. Possibly something pre-snap, but we'll see what the call is. It's going to be a false start on Space Coast, which is going to be declined. And that's going to bring up 4th down. As they get a yard on the run, it's going to be 4th down and 6 for Space Coast at the Father Lopez 40. But for the 2nd drive in a row, Space Coast will go for it here on their last 4th down attempt. It went for a 44-yard touchdown on 4th and 4. This time it's 4th and 6 at the Father Lopez 40 with 1 minute to go here in the first quarter. Sandy rolls out right, looking to throw. He's going to tuck it here. Last second, gets it away, and it's hauled in. Flag is down, but it's a 1st down for Space Coast. Heads up play by Sandy at the last moment to flip that one upfield. It's hauled in. But there is a flag connected with, I believe, Caden Thomas, number 3 on the far side. But it's a hold on Space Coast, so that's not going to stand. And that's going to instead make it 4th down and 16, which now you'll see, I believe, the punt unit come out on the field for Space Coast. So that's a tough break. Instead of a big 1st down completion, you're going to head to 4th and 16, which will change the game plan to the punt unit for Space Coast on drive number 2.
And the referee you saw there on the screen was showing basically what happened is the ref saw the lineman pick up and throw his guy to the ground, but outside the shoulder pads. As a lineman, you always want to go up and press in the chest. In the chest, in the breastplate is where you want your hands. Anything outside shoulders or outside, the refs are going to call that every single time.
So instead of a 1st and 10, now Space Coast will punt it away on 4th and 16. And they're going to pin it down the sideline. Good roll, great punt by Space Coast. It's going to roll down to the 11-yard line. It's a good boot, about 40 yards net distance, as it kind of towed the sideline, bounced back in bounds. And now Father Lopez will be stuck back at their own 11-yard line. I'd like to thank our sponsor tonight, Florida Breeze Air and Heat. As Melbourne, Florida residents and locally owned and operated, Florida Breeze Air and Heat knows the importance of getting your air conditioning up and running again is serious business. Florida summers are hot, and you don't want to feel that burning heat for long. That's why so many Brevard County residents trust Florida Breeze with their AC repairs on the Space Coast. Florida Breeze offers professional repair and installation services to both residential and commercial clients. With the right AC repair services, you can cut down on additional expenses and increase the lifespan on your air conditioning unit. For immediate assistance, call 321-951-8767 and online at floridabreeze.com. 1st down and 10 Father Lopez stuck back at their own 10-yard line after a great punt by Space Coast. First play is going to be a handoff here for the Green Wave. That's going to get back up to the original line of scrimmage and not much further as Space Coast defensive front pushes back there. Off the carry by Nick Viscamy. Brought down, or the charge was led by Jacob Starkey for Space Coast. As the clock's going to tick out on the first quarter here from the Snake Pit here at Space Coast. A nice first quarter for the Vipers as they lead Father Lopez 7-0. Off of a 44-yard touchdown pass from Zion Sandy to Alex Banikowski. And a nice start for Space Coast.
All right, and we'll be right back with second quarter action right here on the Brevard Sports Network.
Hey, this is Devon Dudley, and you are watching Brevard Sports Network. Oh, my brother, testify.
As we welcome you back live to the Brevard Sports Network. Quarter number 2 getting set to begin here from Space Coast between Father Lopez and the Space Coast Vipers here in the spring game. First quarter, 7-0 is the lead for Space Coast off a 44-yard touchdown pass on their opening drive. Currently it's 2nd down and 8 for Father Lopez at their own 12-yard line. Empty set here for Colt Davis in the shotgun. 2 receivers split either side. Going to bring on running back here late to the play, so no longer an empty set. 2nd down and 8 to come. Now they bring a man in motion, Dylan Tachi. Now 2 backs, and we got a flag down before the play. As I don't know if anyone moved or if that's a delay of game, but the flag's waved off quickly, so never mind. So it goes from empty set to split backs quickly here. Now Tachi will move back to the O-line as they'll get reset for 2nd down and 8. Now they'll bring Tachi back into the backfield. Split backs here with Colt Davis now, as it'll be a give to Tachi. Tachi gets around the edge. Good blocking. Tachi gets to the outside, and he'll be pushed out of bounds just short of the line to gain. He'll bring up 3rd down and short. It's going to be 3rd down and 1. Third down and 2 for the Green Wave at their own 18-yard line. That one a gain of 6 yards by Tachi. As Father Lopez gets set for 3rd down and 2. Off a 6-yard carry.
The PA.
3rd down and 2 for the Green Wave at their own 18-yard line. Davis in the shotgun, trips near side. 2 safeties for Space Coast defensively. Man in motion is Nate Sajor. And Sajor pulled back across the line here. Handoff right up the middle on 3rd down and 2. Don't think he got there. Good defense up front by Space Coast on the run by Maverick Grimm. And he did not get there. That's a loss of a yard. And it's going to be 4th down and 3 for Father Lopez at their own 17-yard line. And 4th down and 3 coming up for Father Lopez. And despite the territory at their own 17, they're going for it. Trust in the yardage here. We'll see, because Space Coast bowed up on the run on the last play. We'll see what Father Lopez goes with. We got a flag down in the secondary. It looks like it's going to be a delay of game on Father Lopez, and they've been getting close a few times there. That time they let the play clock run down too far. Now with 4th down and 8 back to their own 12-yard line, the punt unit will come out there. So, don't get the play off, then no worries about what the play call was, as we'll see now 4th down and 8, punt unit on the field for Father Lopez. Luckily with no rush, because punter's in the end zone. No worry about a safety as long as he doesn't drop the snap. But no matter what, even with no return, it should be good position for Space Coast. Most likely he's going to be in Father Lopez territory based on where the returner is set up. As Luke Zabak will get it away. End over end punt. Will not be in Father Lopez territory. It bounces over the 50 and will be down for Space Coast at their own 44-yard line. It bounces over the head of Cole Gamble and down by Damian Bowder. And now we'll see Space Coast take over for their 3rd drive of the game. They've had touchdown on the opening drive, a punt on their 2nd drive. Now to be 1st down and 10. Vipers at their own 44-yard line has seen a lot more success in their passing game than the run game so far. Battle in the trenches being won by most times just the defense in general. I mean, the run plays for either team have kind of been stopped by the defensive line. Pass blocking has been solid for the most part by Space Coast.
The Green Wave in their passing attack, they've been keeping a tight end in almost like max protection with 2 or 3 wide receivers going out for routes.
Especially like the ability and the mobility of Zion Sandy at quarterback. But we have a new quarterback in, as I say that, for Space Coast, and he's going to keep a QB draw right up the middle for a gain of 3 or 4. Christian Burt now in at quarterback for Space Coast. So I guess at the turn of the quarter, got a new quarterback. So possibly a quarterback competition here at Space Coast as well here between Christian Burt and Zion Sandy. We saw Sandy have a touchdown pass in the 1st quarter. Burt play fakes. It'll be his first pass out to the sidelines. A screen hauled in, breaks a tackle. 1st down and more down the sideline. And a big gain into Father Lopez territory by Damian Bowder, but there is a flag down back by the line of scrimmage. So this may possibly come back here off the screen pass that went for a 1st down. It's going to be a false start.
It's going to be a illegal formation
On Space Coast, and then a timeout by Coach Jake Owens and Space Coast, their first of the game, but that's a killer. I mean, that's the 2nd time a penalty so far in this game has turned back a 1st down. Saw it last time on their 4th down play where they, instead of converting on 4th, a hold set them up for 4th and 16, and which caused them to punt. Now the 5-yard penalty, instead of giving them a 1st and 10, is going to back them up for a 2nd down and 12 yards, I believe. So tough break there for Space Coast. Coach Owens didn't agree with the call, but at the end of the day, he takes the timeout now, and they'll get set up for 2nd down and 12.
Well, and usually when you see those illegal formations, it's usually because they have a tight end in the play. The tight end lines up in the backfield. You can only have, I believe, four members in the backfield at a time. So, again, things you see in a spring game that Coach Owens, I promise you, will get corrected.
Space Coast ready to go out of the timeout. Father Lopez now making their way onto the field. 2nd down and 11 now for Space Coast at their own 43-yard line. Father Lopez loading the box here for 2nd down. Showing blitz. They're going to pull out of it. Burt rolls out left on a quick rollout. It's hauled in underneath for a short gain by E.J. Klauser, who's been a favorite target of both quarterbacks now in this game for Space Coast. That's going to bring up 3rd down. 3rd down and 7 here for Space Coast coming up at their own 47-yard line.
And that's actually quite advanced for a defense to run in spring, to kind of fake, loading up the box and then dropping back into coverage. I like that. It shows the Green Wave can be versatile in their defense.
3rd down and 7. Burt throw to the outside is hauled in. It was a ball stayed in the air for a while. It was hauled in by Alex Banikowski, but nowhere to run as Nathan Watkins was already there by the time the ball got there. Again, that one just hung up in the air for a bit. And it's going to be 4th down and 7 now as that one goes for no gain. Space Coast quickly keeps the offense out on the field, and they are going for it. 4th down and 7 for Space Coast at their own 47-yard line. Got to get up to the Father Lopez 46 for a first down.
It's a quick hard count check with me.
And now they're calling out punt, so Father Lopez doesn't move defensively, and now the punt unit will come out for Space Coast without a timeout needed, as Lucas Paul will be back to punt for the 2nd time in this game. As the returner still dropping back for Father Lopez. Paul with a nice kick, and it'll be downed. And Father Lopez will take over at their own 19-yard line with 7:17 to go in the 2nd quarter. Off both these punts, I mean, Space Coast has pinned Father Lopez inside their own 20 both time. That one at the 19. Their last punt downed him at the 10. So, when Space Coast has had to punt, they've made good use of it. It'll be 1st down and 10 coming up now for Father Lopez, actually at the 20-yard line this time around. So far, every drive has either been a turnover on downs or a punt. No score yet on the board for Father Lopez in this one. I think they've been over midfield one time in this game. And we'll see them take over now for 1st down and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Once again, seeing a shallow cover 2 defense here for Space Coast with 2 safeties over the top. Colt Davis drops back to pass for Father Lopez. He's going to let it fly. Has a man open with a step, and it's incomplete off the fingertips of Nate Sajor. That was a good arm by Davis, as he got that one about 40 yards downfield. And off the fingertips of Sajor, who was kind of adjusting his speed mid-route. I think if he kind of kept up his original pace, he would have been right under that ball, but slowed down a little bit. The ball ended up a little out ahead of him. But the coverage was there, but Sajor did have a step. That's a heads-up throw by Davis to throw it over the defense, but just out in front of his receiver. That'll bring up 2nd and 10. That's the first time we've really seen Father Lopez try and take the top off of this defense. Nearly paid off. And
sometimes that comes with timing. Sometimes it comes, a young receiver, trying to learn how to trace that ball and trying to do 2 things at once like that can get quite difficult.
The motion, the running back out of the backfield. Davis drops back to pass on 2nd and 10. He's going to let it fly again. Wide open this time. Sajor's up ahead, and it's overthrown. As that time, Sajor did get by the defensive back, and he was on his way to the end zone if he could have hauled that one in. That one a little out in front again by a yard. 3rd down and 10 now for Father Lopez from their own 20, and you can tell Davis and Sajor are itching to get that connection down.
And sometimes as a quarterback there, your eyes get as wide because you're like, wait, my guy's open? Oh, wow, okay. And, even if it's designed him, the fact that he was that wide, he had the defender beat by about 2-3 steps. So to have that kind of space there, sometimes you get a little overzealous and try to, put a little something on it, and you overthrow it just a little bit again. But if you're the Green Wave, you like seeing that.
Yeah.
You got a speedy receiver, and your quarterback has a connection with him.
3rd down and 10, though, for Father Lopez. Nothing to show on the 1st and 2nd deep shots. 3rd down at their own 20. Davis rolls out right. Blitz coming. Throws on the run. It's high. It's hauled in. But Tachi loses his footing going up for the ball there, and it's going to be 4th down and 6 now for Father Lopez at their own 24. High pass. Good job by Tachi to climb the ladder and get it, but couldn't come down on his feet. And that's going to bring up 4th down and 6. And the punt team's going to come back out here for Father Lopez and Luke Zabak. And this is one, if you're Father Lopez, you really hate to have to punt away because you had a few good shots downfield. Even on 3rd down, you had an open receiver. And it's just one of those drives, if you get your receiver 1 step ahead, or the ball 1 more yard behind, you could have a touchdown at the end of this drive. But instead, all you have to show is a punt and a 0 still on the scoreboard through 4th down.
And the coaching point here for Coach Nasser is going to be, hey, relax. Settle in and just make the throw. Don't make it harder than you have to on yourself.
That punt's a spiral, and it's downed by Cole Gamble. And Space Coast will take over at their own 38-yard line for this drive. As we got the second quarter water break here. Once again, like to thank Florida Breeze. As Melbourne, Florida residents and locally owned and operated, Florida Breeze Air and Heat knows the importance of getting your air conditioning up and running again is serious business. Florida summers are hot, and you don't want to feel that burning heat for long. That's why so many Brevard County residents trust Florida Breeze with their AC repairs on the Space Coast. Florida Breeze offers professional repair and installation services to both residential and commercial clients. With the right AC repair services, you can cut down on your additional expenses and increase the lifespan of your air conditioning unit. Their HVAC technicians are highly trained and expertly install or repair your cooling unit. Florida Breeze has years of experience, which gives them insight into understanding clients' needs, which helps them bring about masterful and efficient air conditioner repair and installation servicing. When you need your system serviced and for new installation, please call Florida Breeze and watch them get things done quickly, right, and with a great price, saving you money, time, and getting you and your family cool faster. Call for immediate assistance at 321-951-8767, and you can visit online at floridabreeze.com.
I'd also like to give a quick shout-out to Natwick Insurance, title sponsor here of the Brevard Sports Network. Brevard Sports Network is powered by Natwick Insurance.
First down and 10 for Space Coast. It's a handoff up the middle. And a solid carry there by Cole Gamble for the Vipers on first down. It's a gain of 5 yards. As splits the distance in half for second down. It'll be 2nd and 5 for Space Coast at their own 44. For the Vipers, split backs again here with Christian Burt. Two receivers split far, one near. Burt looks for the screen pass here. It's hauled in, but tracked down in the backfield for a loss. As Dylan Tachi makes a hit on Damian Bowder for a big loss on second down. That's a loss of 4 yards. It's going to be 3rd down and 9 for Space goes back to their own 40. As Tachi hunted Bowder down from about 10 yards out on the screen pass there. Makes a tackle right as the ball hits Bowder's hands, and that's going to end up netting a loss of 4 yards, where you're kind of hoping or wishing that Bowder would have, dropped that ball, get those yards back. But at the end of the day, it's 3rd down and 9. Burt is going to throw that one low on the slip screen. It's incomplete off his back foot. And it's going to be 4th down and 9 for Space Coast now from their own 40.
And I think so far, going here into half, we're nearing halftime, about 4:35 left to play here in the first half. Both coaches are going to tell their quarterbacks, throw to your guys. On those screen passes, you kind of need to put a little zip on that ball, get it to them quicker so they have the moment to look up and make a move. But again, this is spring ball, two very young teams.
Snap bounces, the punt gets away. Great bounce. That's going to bounce inside the 20 again and be down at the 14-yard line at the end of the day for Father Lopez. That makes all 3 punts so far in this game by Lucas Paul be down inside the Father Lopez 20. That's a big stat, punts inside the 20, 3 for 3 so far for Paul. And that'll bring up 1st down and 10 for Father Lopez again. Their last drive, 2 deep shots fell incomplete, and then a 3rd down catch went down short of the stick, setting up a punt. Now the Green Wave will start from their own 15-yard line for 1st down and 10 once again, still with 0 on the scoreboard, but only trailing by 7 after an opening drive score by Space Coast. As Father Lopez defense keeping them solidly in this game. It's going to be 1st down and 10 for the Green Wave at their own 15-yard line. Colt Davis in the shotgun again. Pulls a man in motion. That's Nathan Watkins. As Davis will drop back to pass. Blitz coming. It's hauled in by Watkins for a gain of 5 yards. It's going to bring up 2nd and 5 there on a curl route and a completion to Nathan Watkins for 5 as the blitz was coming down hard on Colt Davis. Gets it away and on target. That'll bring up 2nd down and 5 for. We're up to the 21-yard line for 2nd and 4.
Once again, the Green Wave had the deep shot open here over the middle, had his guy beat by 4 or 5 steps.
Second down and 4 for Father Lopez from their own 21-yard line. Davis brings a man in motion. Same motion, opposite side of the field this time. Davis lets it fly again. It's hauled into the outside. And it'll be short of the line to gain as Nate Sajor is brought down short of the line to gain by Zion Sandy, who was the Vipers quarterback in the first quarter. They're making a good play from the cornerback position, and only a yard short of the line to gain. It is 3rd down and 1 for Father Lopez at their own 24-yard line. Second quarter and the first half as a whole starting to wind down here. Father Lopez with a 3rd and short here after the completion to Sajor on second. Goes for 4 yards. Now 3rd down and 1 for Father Lopez. Davis in the shotgun. Brings a man in motion. Tachi will set up in the backfield. Split backs now. Blitz coming for Space Coast. Handoff to Tachi. Tachi around the edge. And there's a flag coming in. And we'll see if he got the first down yardage, but a flag is down regardless on the run by Tachi.
And usually right about there, that's usually in the area of holding.
Space Coast brought the house on that one as well. Tachi was able to bounce it outside. Again, I don't know if he got the first down in the first place, but flag could decide that for us. It's a face mask on Space Coast, which is going to be a 15-yard first down. So regardless of if he got the first down or not, doesn't matter. 15 yards will be given, automatic first down anyway. And a big penalty there to give. Or that's going to be the 5-yard variety. Still a first down, not 15. It'll be 1st down and 10 now for. Now, where that ball is being spotted at the 34 means that's 5 yards from, the 29, 5 yards from the 24. So that's saying that he did not get the first at the first place. So that penalty ends up giving Father Lopez the first down. So that's crucial. On the face mask by Space Coast. 1st down and 10 for the Green Wave at their own 29-yard line. First down and 10 for the Green Wave. Colt Davis in the shotgun. 2 receivers split far, 1 near with 1 running back. Brings a man in motion. Davis drops back to pass. Rifles one over the middle, and it's incomplete. And that one nearly intercepted. Bounces off of one of the Space Coast defenders. I don't think he was ready for the ball to come to him. But lucky break for Davis there.
It almost looked like he was kind of reading the backfield a little bit, and that hit my chest, and I could have had a pick.
I mean, that was a rifle. Davis threw a bullet right over the middle there, and it zips by his receiver and luckily falls to the ground. 2nd down and 10 now for Father Lopez at their own 29. Under 2 minutes to go in the first half now. Green Wave looking to score right before the half. Try and possibly tie this game or put 3 on the board. But still 2nd down and 10 for the time being at their own 29-yard line. Trips to the near side. 1 back with Davis. He's going to bring a motion here again. Father Lopez does a lot of pre-snap motion. As blitz coming, Davis lets it fly to the sideline. Tachi is there, but it's overthrown again. Space Coast was actually closer to that one. As trying to get under that one defensively was Connor Anderson. Nearly got there, but that ball too far out in front for Dylan Tachi to get under. And that's going to bring up 3rd down and 10 for Father Lopez from their own 29. I think if you have any extra time at halftime, if you're Father Lopez, just got to practice the deep ball. Because it's been there, it's just either an inch out in front or an inch too far to the left, right, however it may be. But
and that the best thing to run there, or is 7-on-7, pass Skelly 7-on-7. Build up that timing, and because that's all that is. It's just timing and
separation. The route running's there.
Absolutely, they have receivers who can get off the ball and create that separation. So, that's what you do. A couple extra days. Hey, guys, let's just go throw the ball around. Practice some routes on air and truly get that timing down.
3rd down and 10 for Father Lopez at their own 29-yard line. Only 1:40 to go in the first half. Colt Davis, deep drop. Lets it fly off his back foot. That one way underthrown for Nate Sajor. But that one due to the fact that threw it off his back foot. And again, luckily falls incomplete as the deep ball just not hitting the mark. As Sajor was open again, though. I mean, Space Coast has got to be careful at this point because once this deep ball hits, that could be a touchdown for Father Lopez. So the safety's got to, or the corner's got to stay with their receivers here. As the punt unit's going to come out again for Father Lopez with 1 minute and 33 seconds to go in the half. And so far, Space Coast has only taken 1 timeout. I'm assuming they still get 3 timeouts per half, even in the spring game, which would mean they have 2 left. Father Lopez still has all 3. 4th down and 10. Father Lopez will punt it away from their own 29-yard line. Luke Zabak gets it away. It's a high ball here, and that one's going to drop and be downed by Gamble. And Space Coast will take over, possibly with the last drive of the first half here from their own 30.
Just heard Coach Owens say, "Hey, 2 minutes, let's go." They're going to take this time and try to practice some of that 2-minute offense.
They'll take over at their own 38-yard line. Yeah, this is a great time to do it in the first half of the spring game here. 1:24 to go with 2 timeouts for Space Coast. They want the touchdown. They got 62 yards to go. And we'll see if the Vipers can move it down the field in time to score before the half.
You're the Vipers. If the refs aren't going to stop you, I'd get lined up and go.
They're set. Father Lopez slow to get on the field here. Once they whistle this live, expect Space Coast to go. They're live. As they switch quarterbacks back now to a Zion Sandy. Sandy drops back. He's going to let it fly wide open down the sideline. It's caught. 1st down and more for Space Coast. Breaks a tackle. Slips off another one. What a play down the sideline. Touchdown, Space Coast. Play number 1. They go 62 yards from a Zion Sandy to Caden Thomas. Now there's a flag down at the end of that, but I think that was after the touchdown. What a play by Caden Thomas, slipping off of multiple tackles, literally slowing down, dropping the head, and spinning around. Spin move after spin move, highlight touchdown there for Space Coast. Caden Thomas. And that's the deep ball. That's the chemistry. Space Coast gets it down there. As Zion Sandy comes right in and makes the play to Caden Thomas.
That one's going to be a BSN reel.
Yeah. that one was 22 yards through the air. And then the next 40 by Thomas. It's going to be an unsportsmanlike conduct on Space Coast. Touchdown is good nonetheless, though. 62-yard touchdown pass from a Zion Sandy to Caden Thomas. Thomas breaks 3 tackles on the way to the end zone on an improbable touchdown play. And the extra point lined up here for Lucas Paul, trying to put him up by 14. And Paul's kick is up, and it is good. And with just over a minute to go in the first half, it's 14-0 in favor of Space Coast after a 62-yard strike by a Zion Sandy to Caden Thomas. And, well, Thomas did the rest himself, breaking 3 tackles, and that's just a highlight play. On top of all that, he's towing the sideline as well, playing his way down there. Just a great play. And highlight, didn't really get to practice the 2-minute offense because it took, 10 seconds to get down the field, but can't really complain if you're Space Coast. So nice touchdown there. They'll get set to kick off again. I think they're going to have a 15-yard penalty yet to be enforced.
Now, I think what the unsportsmanlike is the fact he did slow down and kind of embarrass the man. Sometimes that can be.
I don't think so. I think because it came in after the play when he was already in the end zone.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah, here comes the 15 yards. So they're going to have to kick off from the 50-yard line.
I didn't realize the unsportsmanlike was against.
It was against Space Coast.
Oh. Okay. I was confused. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, they were going the wrong way.
Referees are confusing the broadcaster, ladies and gentlemen. We rely on them to tell us what's going on.
Yeah, so it was a celebration penalty there, but hey, for Mr. Thomas, you can celebrate. That was pretty impressive. Or whoever got the penalty, that's a pretty pretty cool play and a big-time touchdown, 62 yards for Space Coast, puts them ahead by 14. They will now be kicking off from their own 25-yard line. And the run up and kick, it's going to be a low drive squib kick, and it'll be down at the 29 for Father Lopez, and that's where they will start. They still have 3 timeouts and a minute to operate here before the half, and now Father Lopez, more emphasis on getting a score on the board. Space Coast kind of getting rolling with those big plays. I mean, those 2 touchdowns that combined 106 yards on those 2 plays alone, a 44-yard touchdown and a 62-yard touchdown. Besides that, Father Lopez defense has been good, but on those big pass plays, that's where Space Coast has been able to get it. But on the same side of that, or on the other side of that coin, Father Lopez has had those deep balls for themselves. They just haven't been able to connect. Just over a minute to go in the first half. First down and 10. Father Lopez at their own 30. Davis brings him in motion. It's Tachi into the backfield. It's going to be a jet touch pass to Dylan Tachi. Tachi drags a defender for a yard or 2, and that's going to bring up second down and 8. And we're going to get the first time out of the half here for Father Lopez and Coach Matthew Nasser here. Is now they're playing the clock management game as the clock ticked under a minute to go on that play, and that's their first time out of the half. And we'll see after a gain of about 3 yards on first down, we'll see what the Green Wave draw up here for second down. Is we'll most likely start seeing them going down the field again or going back to the pass here on these next few plays just due to the time constraints in this first half. And honestly, the run game for either team hasn't been overly successful. We've seen some runs that have gone for 5, 6, 7 yards, but haven't really seen any break big. It's been a lot of defensive fronts winning those battles for Space Coast and Father Lopez. So you see a run there, technically it's a touch pass, but sets up like a run and doesn't go far. So we'll see coming out of the timeout. Father Lopez it's going to be second and 8 at their own 32-yard line. 58 seconds to go in the half. 68 yards to the end zone. Davis in the shotgun with a back. Trips far side this time around. Davis drops back to pass. It's going to be a quick hitter on the slant. It's hauled in. Breaks 2 tackles, breaks 3 tackles, and a nice first down play. A shifty play by Jonathan Felton on a quick slant. And that's going to bring up a first down for Father Lopez up to their own 41 as he picks up 9 yards on that one in a first down. That was about a little 2-step, 3-step drop and a quick release by Davis. And then 3 broken tackles by Felton gets him the first down. Clock continues to roll, though. First down and 10 for Father Lopez. They fake the give to Tachi, hand off the other way to Grimm. Grimm breaks 1 tackle, trying to get to the sideline. And he'll get out of bounds. But he's going to lose a yard there. But, at that point, running back Maverick Grimm had kind of realized that and was just beelining for the sideline to stop the clock. The clock will stop with 24 seconds to go now. It's going to bring up second down and 10 as he dives back ahead to the original line of scrimmage. Second down and 10 now for Father Lopez at their own 41. But over the course of that last play, they lost 30 seconds without taking a timeout. They still have 2 left in the first half here. With 24 seconds and 59 yards to go to the end zone, as it's second down and 10 for Father Lopez at their own 41. Space Coast has got 3 on the D-line. Man in motion is Tachi. They fake the give to him. Davis trots back to pass. He'll let it fly. Nobody open yet. That one, interception is dropped by Space Coast. And that's one Damian Bowder is going to want back as he got under that one. And that one really wasn't open, but Davis just let it fly, hoping that his receiver could go up and get it. But Bowder breaks it up, and it's going to bring up third down and 10 for Father Lopez at their own 41. I think that was the only deep ball they've tried that hasn't been open yet. And it was the one that was, I would say, the most on target. It was just into double coverage. So Bowder nearly got under it for the interception, but falls incomplete. Third down and 10 for Father Lopez at their own 41. You can see 2 really deep safeties now for Space Coast, kind of diagnosing Father Lopez's game plan here. Davis throws a swing pass. Tachi breaks 1 tackle, breaks 2. Tachi still on his feet, and he'll be brought down after a gain of about 7 yards. And we will see The second timeout of the half here taken by Father Lopez, but they only have 7 seconds to go for 4th down and 3, which is going to be for Father Lopez at their own 48 coming out of the timeout. And I guess it's just going to be a deep shot here.
I want to say, you can say it's 4th and 3. Let's go ahead and call it what it is. 4th and 52.
Yeah, they're going to be going to the end zone here. I don't know the kicking scenario, if there's anywhere they could kind of put themselves to kick a field goal, but that's definitely not the goal here. Biggest thing for Space Coast is don't let them get behind the safeties. I mean, the safeties, your only goal here is even to keep them out of the end zone. If you let up a completion, that's not the goal, but you just got to make sure they don't get in the end zone because the deep ball is going to take 7 seconds to set up, get downfield. So you just got to make sure it doesn't end up in the end zone. Look to break it up, but don't get beat over the top.
Keep everything in front of you. That's all you have to do.
Quickly out of the timeout. 4th down and 3. 2 deep safeties here for Space Coast, 15 yards downfield. With 7 seconds to go in the half, Father Lopez. Davis drops back to pass. He's going to look for a quick out. Tachi hauls in. He gets the first down as he picks up about 5. But that will run out the clock here in the first half as he doesn't get out of bounds. And through the first half of the spring game here at the Snake Pit, the Vipers looking solid. 2 big touchdown passes by Zion Sandy has the Vipers up 14-0 through the first half over the Father Lopez Green Wave. As we have halftime coming up. As we'd like to thank our sponsor one more time before we go into the half. Never mind. I think we're going to have 1 second on the clock here before the half. As that was one thing I was wondering. The clock didn't stop when he got the first down. So they're going to call everyone back to the field, and Father Lopez will get another play as the first down stops the clock with 1 second to go. It'll be 1st and 10. Father Lopez now at the Space Coast 47, but again, pretty much a 1st and 47 as they're going to try and go all the way to the end zone on this play. First down, Father Lopez. They're going to get one shot here with 1 second to go. 1st down and 10 for Father Lopez. Still 2 deep safeties with the cornerbacks also playing about 10 yards off. So got 4 defensive backs set deep for Space Coast. 47 yards to the end zone for Father Lopez here on the last play of the first half. Colt Davis drops back to pass. Blitz coming. He lets it fly. Tochi's incomplete. And that one will run out the first half as the pass falls incomplete off the hands of Dylan Tachi. And score the same as when I said it a minute ago, 14-0. Space Coast leads Father Lopez. Like to thank Florida Breeze Air and Heat. Florida summers are hot. You don't want to feel the burning heat for long. That's why so many Brevard County residents trust Florida Breeze with their AC repairs on the Space Coast. Florida Breeze offers professional repair and installation services to both residential and commercial clients. With the right AC repair services, you can cut down on additional expenses and increase the lifespan on your air conditioning unit. Their HVAC technicians are highly trained and expertly install or repair your cooling unit. Florida Breeze has years of experience, which gives them insight into understanding clients' needs, which helps them bring about masterful and efficient air conditioner repair and installation servicing. When you need your system serviced and for new installation, please call Florida Breeze and watch them get things done quickly, right, and with a great price, saving your money, time, and getting you and your family cool faster. For more immediate assistance, call 321-951-8767, and you can visit online at floridabreeze.com. With that, we'll head to the break. We'll be back in about 15 minutes for the start of the second half. Our score, Space Coast 14, Father Lopez 0. We welcome you back live here to Space Coast Junior Senior High School for the second half of action here in the spring game between Space Coast and Father Lopez. Space Coast leads this one 14-0 at the half on the back of two big touchdown passes by Zion Sandy from 44 yards out and 62 yards out, respectively. The second one of those to Caden Thomas from 62 yards was an absolute highlight play there, as Thomas ended up shedding off three tacklers on his way to the end zone down the sideline. And that has Space Coast ahead by 2 touchdowns into the break. The story of the game so far for Father Lopez offensively is just trying to get that deep ball to connect. They've had a lot of open deep shots that haven't connected, and so far they've punted on all drives but one in which they turned the ball over on downs. No turnovers yet for either team in this game, but it has been defensive as we've seen a lot of punts. But as I mentioned, 2 big plays have set Space Coast ahead. The running game for both teams hasn't been big. We've seen a lot in the passing game, and we'll see if that continues into the second half of action here in the spring game. Still going on the network is the Jamboree over at Melbourne, as that's between Melbourne, MCC, and John Carroll. As again, today, the last day of school for everyone in Brevard County, so for all the student athletes watching, happy summer vacation. But for these football players, it's spring game time, spring practice wrapping up, and then they'll get into summer workouts and practice as well. So their season just beginning, but we've seen all the spring sports wrap up now with baseball and softball kind of having its curtain call. And be on to fall sports here soon as the second half kickoff, first kickoff of the entire game for Father Lopez is up and away. That one's going to get inside the 10-yard line. That's where it'll be down, and it'll be started at the 25-yard line there off the kickoff by Luke Zabak. And Space Coast will take over at their own 25-yard line. Their last drive of the first half was a one-play 62-yard touchdown that I just mentioned. Again, one-play drive, stepped up, got it downfield, and that was one also where Father Lopez was late getting on the field on defense as well, and that's something they got to work on. They had to delay a game offensively in the first half. Defensively, they've taken a lot of time getting on the field. That cost them a touchdown, so you already see here Father Lopez gets set before Space Coast now to start the second half, so already seeing they're kind of getting their tempo up as Space Coast takes the field offensively. We've seen 2 different quarterbacks, as I mentioned, Zion Sandy with 2 touchdown passes, but for a few drives we also saw Christian Burt, and that's who we'll see here to start the second half. So possibly a quarterback battle here at Space Coast for that starting job. Burt with a handoff, or a keeper on the read option, as Burt decides to keep it himself, and he'll take it ahead for 3 yards with forward progress. The option was with Cole Gamble, but Burt decided to keep it himself. That'll bring up 2nd down and 7 for Space Coast at their own 28-yard line. I thank Florida Breeze Air and Heat, our sponsor for tonight. See them there at the bottom of your screen. As Burt hands off this time to Gamble. Gamble, good blocking, gets around the edge, cuts up field for the first down. That one, if he had a little bit more room to run, had green grass over the top. As he got brought down to the second level of that defense, as Cole Gamble picks up a first down for Space Coast up to their own 38-yard line. And as I said, coming back in the second half, the run game hasn't really had a big breakout for either of these teams, but that was a nice run on 2nd down to bring up first. 1st and 10. Burt gives up the gut. Gamble breaks the tackle in the backfield and spins forward for a solid gain on 1st down. As splits the yardage in half to bring up 2nd down and 5 for Space Coast at their own 43. As this one's going to be a screen pass, and it's dropped. And it's going to be called incomplete. Father Lopez was looking at it, hoping that it would have been a fumble play, but it was a forward pass. And an incomplete, dropped by E.J. Clouser. And that screen pass they've run a lot of times, and one that Clouser just got to haul in there, on target by Burt. 3rd down and 5 now for Space Coast at their own 43-yard line. Trips to the near side for the Vipers. One receiver split far. One running back in the backfield with Christian Burt. Burt with a play fake. It's going to be a QB draw. Burt dragging a defender for 2 or 3 yards, but that's going to bring up 4th down as Burt cannot get the first down. It's the 3rd time they've run that QB draw play. An interesting play call on 3rd down. It'll bring up 4th down and manageable, though. It's going to be 4th down and 3. Or 4th and 2. Space Coast to their own 46. They're going for it. It's going to be a quick play right up the middle by Burt, and I think he got it. And it's going to be 1st down Space Coast. Great play call there by Jake Owens, the offensive coordinator. Or Owens is the offensive coordinator and the head coach, so great call by Coach Jake Owens there as you saw Burt right before the snap run right up under center, take it and kind of take an extended QB sneak for the 1st down. Chopping the feet, keeping this attack moving. And it's going to be 1st down and 10. Burt, quick drop, quick slant. It's broken up quickly there in coverage. Good coverage there by number 6. Jonathan Felton breaks up the pass intended for Damian Bowder. And it's going to be 2nd down and 10 for Space Coast at their own 49-yard line. That's a quick slant play that we've seen Father Lopez use. And that one's just good coverage by the Green Wave.
Not only that, the ball a hair behind, if it's thrown a little more in front of the receiver, maybe he has a better shot at it.
2nd down and 10 for Space Coast at their own 49. You're going to get a keeper again by Burt with a burst of speed up the middle. And he's going to get about 7 or 8 yards that time on another play fake to Cole Gamble on the option. Burt doing a good job kind of making the right choice on these option plays and keeping when he needs to keep the ball there, and gets a hole open up the middle, picks up about 8 yards. It's going to be 3rd down and 2 for Space Coast at the Father Lopez 43. I would say 4-down territory at this rate, as long as they don't lose yards on this play. This one is going to be a handoff. Cole Gamble is going to be ripped down in the backfield. A flag is going to be thrown. That's going to go for a loss on the run by Cole Gamble. It was brought down in the backfield, but as I said, flag on the play here, which again could determine the outcome of this. It could be make a 1st down for Space Coast, or could make this replay 3rd or 4th and long. It's going to be a hold again. 2nd hold on Space Coast so far in this one, and that's going to bring up 3rd down and 13 now. And we'll see what Space Coast draws up on this 3rd down play. Now, at least you didn't get the 1st down anyway, but, they'll get another chance here at 3rd down and 11, actually, now at their own 48-yard line. 3rd down and 11 for Space Coast. I would still say if they get a good, decent amount of yardage back, this could still be 4-down territory based on where they are on the field. So Space Coast could be looking to go for it on 4th if they don't get it here. Burt, play fake, throws a screen a little bit far behind the line of scrimmage. Breaking tackles, running down the sideline. Caden Thomas dragging defenders just short of the line to gain. Another great play by Caden Thomas. That could be a name to know by the fall here. As he breaks some more tackles. We got an injured Father Lopez player on the play here. But again, Caden Thomas, that one wasn't a deep ball. He broke tackles. That was a screen that ended up going about 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, which he took back to the line of scrimmage and beyond, and ends up being 3 yards short of the line to gain, which, again, I already thought it was going to be 4-down territory, but now, especially on the other side of the 50 on 4th and short, I would expect no less but to see Space Coast offense stay on the field here. But, again, an injured player for Father Lopez here.
It looks to be a cramp.
Saw that a lot back at Holy Trinity a week ago.
Again, it's humid. It's really starting to, okay, it's not starting to get hot. Florida's preheating, all right? But still, when you're out there, you're an athlete, you're doing a lot of running around.
It's 82 degrees, and it's sunset 8:30 at night, but it's still hot out there. And this is where you start hydrating. You get back into your full, season ready shape. And this is the beginning of it. Practice has been going on for a little bit, but definitely not full into season yet for these players. As player going off the sideline now is Nathan Watkins. That's a defensive back. So, you may be seeing, well, not on this play possibly, but you may be seeing them try to attack that if they're starting DBs off the field. Talking about for Space Coast offensively. They are going to go for it. 4th down and 3 for Space Coast at the Father Lopez 44-yard line. And we got movement early, and that's going to be on Space Coast. False start there on Bo Story, who immediately kind of realized his mistake there. And now on 4th and 8, the punt unit's on the field, and this is interesting. You hear 4th and 8, you can kind of understand it, but you're in Father Lopez territory, and on top of that, it is a spring game. You can kind of try some things out here. I would like to see him go for it here, but Coach Jake Owen's not going to do that. Possibly a fake punt. I always say possibly, but I'm guessing because of the no blitz, that may not be an option.
Yeah, no.
So it is booted away, but every single punt so far for Lucas Paul has been inside the 20-yard line, and that's where this one will take over for Father Lopez off the punt on 4th and 8. And we'll see what the Green Wave can do in the second half. First half didn't get a score on the board, crossed the 50 one time, but had some deep balls open. Just got to find that connection between quarterback and receiver. A lot of times it was Nate Sajor downfield. The quarterback is freshman Colt Davis. And it's going to be 1st down and 10 for Father Lopez at their own 15-yard line. An opening drive, I mean, that took about 4.5 minutes. I mean, didn't get all the way down the field, crossed the 50, but that was a long drive to start the second half for Space Coast. So, I mean, with a 14-point lead, you're fine at any point in the game running some clock, as long as it's on your side. James Roberson gets on the field and out wide now for Father Lopez. And, yeah, this one's going to be blown dead as there's movement before the play. False start on Father Lopez to start this drive. Not only is that going to make it 1st and 15, that kicks them back to their own 10-yard line and just makes it harder as you get closer and closer to your own end zone. We've seen a lot of good passes. We've seen some good blocking so far, so haven't seen a lot of sacks. Not too worried about, getting dropped closer to your own end zone in that sense, but that definitely heightens the importance of not letting up the blitz and not committing penalties. So it is going to be 1st and 15 for Father Lopez back at their own 10-yard line. Already almost halfway through the third quarter. Score still the same as it was at halftime. 14-0 Space Coast. As Colt Davis in the shotgun with one back. He's going to have a quick drop, quick screen to the outside. 2 defenders already on him. And that one is going to go for a loss on a quick screen there. So Jonathan Felton to the outside, and that's a quick screen with no blockers in front. That's just one. It's a snap, catch, throw, and with no blockers, 2 defenders were immediately on him for Space Coast, as they are going to give him forward progress, meaning no loss of yardage there, but now that just makes it 2nd and 15, still at their own 10-yard line for the Green Wave. Trips to the near side for Father Lopez. Now they're going to bring one receiver across. Sajor. Davis gives up the middle, breaking some tackles. Maverick Grimm will pick up 4 yards on 2nd down, but it's still going to be 3rd down and more than the original distance. It's going to be 3rd and 11 for Father Lopez at their own 14-yard line. So still a little ways to go. They get a few yards back on the 2nd down carry by Maverick Grimm. As we are now halfway through the third quarter already. 6 minutes down, 6 to go with 3rd down and 11 now. As Grimm now goes off the field after that run. 3rd down and 11 for Father Lopez at their own 14-yard line. Colt Davis drops back to pass. Blitz coming hard, and that one's just going to go into the grass. Incomplete. Davis goes down hard again, and that's going to bring up 4th down and 11 for Father Lopez. And again, you see that false start on 1st down and kind of how that can have accordion effect for the rest of the drive, or domino effect, and how that kind of causes you set back off the jump. And instead of there on 4th down or 3rd and 11, That could have been a 3rd and 6 if you have those 5 yards back, which could change the game plan there. But at the end of the day, that was just a good blitz by Space Coast. Gets pressure on Davis, makes him uncomfortable there, and has to throw that one into the dirt. Incomplete. It's going to be 4th down and 11. Father Lopez will be back to punt from their own 14-yard line. We've seen some good punts so far from Luke Zabak. Hopefully he can get it over the 50-yard line here on this one. Both returners for Space Coast are set up at about their own 45-yard line. As Zabak will get set to punt it away again. And that one is going to be short and won't be downed. It'll roll out of bounds for Space Coast to start at their own 49-yard line, as Cole Gamble couldn't get under the ball. Luckily, no return, so no pressure there. The ball rolls out of bounds, and Space Coast will take over. They'll give them the 50-yard line. So right at the stripe of the 50 is where Space Coast will take over for their second drive of the second half. First drive ended in a punt from Father Lopez territory, and this one they'll take over at the 50 for 1st and 10. Once again, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Florida Breeze Air and Heat. As Florida Breeze offers professional repair and installation services to both residential and commercial clients. With the right AC repair services, you can cut down on additional expenses and increase the lifespan of your air conditioning unit. Their HVAC technicians are highly trained and expertly install or repair your cooling unit. Florida Breeze has years of experience, which gives them insight into understanding clients' needs, which helps them to bring about masterful and efficient air conditioner repair and installation servicing. For immediate assistance, call them at 321-951-8767, and you can visit online at floridabreeze.com. All that information there on the bottom of your screen. You're watching the Brevard Sports Network, powered by Natwick Insurance. 1st down and 10, Space Coast at the 50-yard line here. It's going to be a handoff up the middle, and that one's going to go nowhere. Good defense by Father Lopez up front. Once again, they switch back to their initial starting quarterback, Zion Sandy. We've seen him switch between Sandy and Christian Burt throughout this game. Sandy with 2 passing touchdowns, totaling 106 yards on those 2 plays alone, with a little bit more sprinkled in throughout the game. It's going to be 2nd down and 9 now, as that run gets 1 yard for Space Coast. Now over the 50 to the Father Lopez 49. We'll say the officials have been gracious with giving the forward progress every play, so as long as it's not immediately going backwards. Sandy up the middle of the field. Low pass. Did he get under it? We'll see the call by the official. And that's a completed catch. Great grab by E.J. Klauser. Getting his hands under that ball was a low pass by Sandy. Now Klauser's going to go down here. And that's not what you want to see for Space Coast, as he's been one of their best receivers in this one, is E.J. Klauser down after his catch. But that was a great catch. Getting your hands under that ball, controlling it. And it's going to be 1st down and 10 coming up for Space Coast after the injury timeout here for E.J. Klauser. Now that's a call made on the field. Sometimes you're lucky they don't have, instant replay review. But,
yeah,
I mean, hey, the official's there. He makes them. You had the catch. The ball didn't hit the ground first. So, Klauser makes a great catch. It was a low ball, but it was kind of put where only Klauser could get it anyway. And it's going to be, that was a big 1st down play now for Space Coast. As that one was a gain of about 20 yards. As Klauser is going to walk off the field here under his own power.
Again, another cramping situation.
That one goes down as a gain of 16 yards. It's going to be 1st down and 10 for Space Coast at the Father Lopez 33. This one's going to be a handoff right up the middle. Good blocking. And being brought down after a solid gain there was the running back. I believe that's Cole Gamble. It's getting harder to see these numbers. It's black on the jerseys. And as the sun goes down, it's hard to differentiate a 22 from a 25, but I think that was Cole Gamble on a solid 1st down carry for a gain of about 7 yards. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 3. as this one will be another give to Gamble. Gamble cuts back inside, and Cole Gamble is going to get a first down inside the Florida Breeze Aaron Heat red zone. For the first time either team have been inside the red zone in this game. As I mentioned, the 2 touchdowns for Space Coast were both 44 yards and 62 yards. So neither of them were that close to the end zone to begin with, but now they're driving down the field. First down and 10, Space Coast at the Father Lopez 20-yard line. First down and 10, Space Coast at the Father Lopez 20. That handoff is botched. Ball goes to the ground. And Father Lopez jumps on it. Number 54 with the fumble recovery, Rylan DeMarsh. And as I'm saying, the best sustained drive we've seen tonight by either team will end with a turnover in the red zone. First turnover of the game by either team. It's a fumble on the handoff recovered by Rylan DeMarsh. And that's going to bring up first down and 10, Father Lopez from their own 20. Heads up play by DeMarsh to fall on it for the first turnover of the game. But once again for Father Lopez, starting inside their own 20. However, they get the ball back. But that's a heads up play to stop Space Coast in the red zone and give the Green Wave the ball back on offense. First down and 10. Father Lopez at their own 20. First and 10, Green Wave off the fumble recovery. It's going to be a handoff. Trying to get to the outside. Nowhere to run on the edge for Dylan Tachi. It's going to bring up second down and 10 for Father Lopez. Clock continues to tick. That's going to be a gain of a yard. Second down and 9 for Father Lopez at their own 21. We got whistles here. And we got a timeout by Father Lopez, their first of the second half here with 2:30 to go in the third quarter. Still with the fourth to play. That'll drop them down to 2 timeouts remaining. Ahead of second down and 9 for the Green Wave at their own 21. 14-0 lead for Space Coast, and this one spanning back to the first half. No score yet by either team in the second half.
Again, we've seen a lot in the spring. This spring, just kind of glancing at some of these spring games that have been played. A lot of teams going towards that inter-squad scrimmage. You know, of course, Coco continuously has had an inter-squad scrimmage at least the last 3-4 years. Rockledge had theirs last night. And over the next couple weeks, Alan Slaughter-Zinski is going to be doing live segments with each of the Brevard County football coaches to kind of get a recap from their spring. So it'll be interesting.
I know we saw the ones with John Holmes
Yep.
from Titusville, Coach Gullah from Vieira as well. So there's some interesting insight to those programs already up on the page. This one's going to be a jet sweep for Father Lopez, going for a loss of 6 yards on the play by Nate Sajor, and tracked down and tackle made by Caden Thomas, who's still down on the play. And Thomas has been one of the biggest playmakers in this game so far for Space Coast down. He'll get up with the help from his teammates here before the trainer can even get over to him. We've also seen E.J. Klauser go off for Space Coast. Their 2 leading receivers now. Thomas is going to exit with a limp here. After a really big tackle, though, for a loss of about 6 yards. It's going to bring up third down and 15 for Father Lopez back at their own 15-yard line. I got to say, the Space Coast offense has been impressive with the big plays, but the Space Coast defense could really generate their success this season. They really haven't given up anything to Father Lopez. Some big plays were open, but at the end of the day, they didn't connect. The run plays haven't really developed, and we've seen a lot of punts out of Father Lopez tonight. So possibly look out for the Space Coast defense as well as the offense. I mean, the big plays have obviously been impressive as well. Third down and 15 for Father Lopez at their own 15. Pre-snap movement. a lot of it. And this is going to be another false start here on Father Lopez, which is going to make it 3rd down and 20. And that's just an ill-timed penalty ahead of an already 3rd and long. Going to make it 3rd longer now and pin Father Lopez back to their own 10-yard line for the 2nd drive in a row. It's a big deal to get that turnover in the red zone, but not looking like it's going to turn into much here unless they can get the big play on 3rd.
You know, and here's the thing. The flag wasn't thrown until after the lineman moved to try to point out, hey, some referees allow you to get back.
Yeah. 3rd down and 20. Davis rolls out right, almost in his own end zone, throws a dot on the run. It's high and intercepted. And a good return here, setting up down the sideline for Space Coast as we go from the first turnover of the game to the 2nd and back-to-back possessions. And Space Coast turns it over in the red zone, and they'll get it back with, I believe, 1st and goal. I didn't see who got the interception, looking to catch it here as I believe it's number 4 getting the interception, Damian Bowder. Bowder dropped one in the first half, one he wanted back, and he gets his get back here in the second half. As that one on the run, it was a rifle of a pass as Bowder drops to the ground on the sidelines. Looks like more cramping possibly, but that was a big-time interception. I mean, that was, as I said, that was a laser of a pass coming off with a lot of speed from Colt Davis, but it's high for his receiver, and Bowder gets under it for the interception. And from no turnovers up to the last drive, now back-to-back, and Space Coast fumbles it at the Father Lopez 20, and they get it back off of an interception at the Father Lopez 8-yard line. So somehow they get a net gain of 12 yards thanks to the defense. 1st down and goal. Space Coast at the Father Lopez 8 with just over a minute to go in the 3rd quarter. So off the interception by Damian Bowder, 1st down and goal for Space Coast. And we're going to have a Space Coast timeout here before this play. It'll be their first of the second half. That'll leave them with 2 for the 4th quarter, as this one is taken with 1 minute and 6 seconds to go in the 3rd. This would be crucial if the Vipers go up by 3 possessions into the 4th quarter. Got to say, Space Coast really looking solid in this game. Could be a good look ahead to the fall if this is what they're going to look like. Again, this is an FHSAA team in Father Lopez, and people talk about Space Coast drop down to Sunshine State Athletic, but they can still compete. This is a good team. And, Jake Owens coming back to coach it. You got to watch out for Space Coast in the Sunshine State Athletic playoffs this season. You never know. This team looking strong here in their spring game. If this is any indication of the fall, could be good things to come for the Vipers this season.
And again, now over the summer, Coach Owens will get a chance to really establish his system and get the guys in the weight room, and you never know. You get maybe get a transfer or 2 your way.
Yeah, still a lot to be decided through the summer and the fall itself. 1st and goal, Space Coast handoff right up the middle. Touchdown Vipers. And they're going to get a flag for the spike. So that's going to be 15 yards, but it's a touchdown run by Christian Burt off the handoff by a Zion Sandy. So Burt, who's played quarterback in some of this game, he's going to get his first touchdown running the ball in this one, as we got an injured Viper again on this play. That's an 8-yard touchdown run by Christian Burt for his first touchdown of the game with his legs on the first play of this drive, coming off of the interception by Damian Bowder. And that play takes 7 seconds off the clock, and it's a touchdown for Space Coast, their 3rd of the game. It'll be a 15-yard penalty after the play off the spike by Burt. So again, another injured Viper on the field.
And it's another cramping situation. Again, everyone will start, especially start getting into those summer workouts. I promise you, that hydration level will be fine. Look, everyone knows how hot it gets, especially start hitting that July, early July, mid-July.
Trust me, once you cramp once like that, you'll make sure you're hydrated for the next time. So sometimes you have to learn the hard way, but they'll be ready.
And Alan and I were talking, we had a little, not even a debate. We posed a question, which ones are worse? The ones you get on the field or the ones that wake you up in the dead of night?
Yeah, those ones.
Yeah. I was saying we kind of came to that conclusion that those ones will wake you up in the dead of the night, just like, oh my gosh.
Extra point on for Lucas Paul. 2 for 2 in this one so far. Kick is up. It is good. And with 59 seconds to go in the third quarter after the 8-yard touchdown run by Christian Burt, it's 21-0 Space Coast. As Father Lopez got a quarter to go here, but they're going to need to find a spark here quickly. You know, we haven't seen them go to the deep ball yet in the second half. I mean, they've had 2 drives here in the third quarter, but Space Coast has taken up a lot of the clock with 2 of their drives. That one was a one-play drive that only took about 7 seconds, but the other 2 took a lot of the time. So, I mean, time of possession, Space Coast is kind of siphoned away from Father Lopez. Hasn't given them a lot of time to move down the field. But again, we've only seen this Green Wave team move across midfield twice. One of those was the last drive of the first half where they were pretty much gunning for the end zone. So we really haven't seen this team set up a long drive. You really want to see that here. But at the same time, you can't really take too much time off the clock either, needing 3 touchdowns. So the interception by Damian Bowder turns into points, as that gets him 7 off the touchdown run by Christian Burt. Now the kickoff again will be taken from their own 25-yard line off second celebration penalty on Space Coast.
Listen, you know, these guys are excited. They're finally putting points on the board, but Coach Owens will get them disciplined up.
Now in a short kick, digs into the dirt, and it's down as quick as Father Lopez can. This is their best starting field position by far in this game, as Father Lopez will take over at their own 48-yard line. And a lot about that, too, is just learning about what you can and can't do.
Yeah. Look, and look, I want to say the referees have done a terrific job tonight. If there's one thing I can be ticky-tacky about, and this is being ticky-tacky, again, fantastic job they've done tonight. It's a spike. Look, you ran a kid over. Granted, it was an 8-yard run, and yes, you are up now by 3 scores. But, that's a big moment. You run somebody over to get in the end zone. The spike, I get why you call it. But that's just me being ticky-tacky.
First down and 10. Father Lopez at their own 48-yard line, the best starting field position of this game. New quarterback in the game. It's going to be a run to the outside and a quarterback keeper down the sideline. First down and more as he steps out of bounds. That is Dylan Tachi, who's been playing wide receiver this whole game for Father Lopez. Takes a keeper, and we'll see where they rule him out. He stepped out short of the first down line to gain by 3 yards. It's going to be a 7-yard gain. It'll bring up second down and 3 for Father Lopez at the Space Coast 45 as they cross midfield for the 3rd time in this game. You could tell Tachi was frustrated that he stepped out because he had the green grass ahead down the sideline if he could have stayed in.
That's that field awareness, field IQ.
It's going to be a second down and 3 for the Green Wave at the Vipers 45. Time starting to tick down in the 3rd quarter. It's going to be a handoff this time. No, it's a keeper. And that's going to be a first down. Gain of 5 yards on second. It'll be first down and 10 for Father Lopez at the 40 of Space Coast. As it was a keeper by Dylan Tachi again. So his 2 snaps at quarterback have just been keepers. They see the change of quarterback after the interception by Colt Davis, but up to that point, he's been playing a pretty good game. But Tachi now at quarterback. First down and 10 for Father Lopez at the Space Coast 40. Also, a lot of times in spring games, you'll just see teams try out quarterbacks, see who works the best with the team. Tachi, 3rd consecutive keeper, as he'll bounce it to the outside here and go down after a gain of 4 yards. Solid ball moving on the ground here, though, for Father Lopez as the time runs out on the 3rd quarter of action here from Space Coast. Our score, Vipers 21, Green Wave 0, as we'll head to the 4th quarter. The last 12 minutes will go up on the clock, and Space Coast will look to run out that clock to get a spring game victory. Father Lopez going to have an uphill climb in the 4th, but they'll be starting with some solid field position and a drive that they're developing well here, and we'll see if the Green Wave can get a drive going into the end zone. But so far, Space Coast leads at 21-0. The only score there in that third quarter was an 8-yard touchdown run by Christian Burt with a minute to go in the third quarter. So 2 timeouts will still be held by both teams for the fourth quarter. Mostly concerning Father Lopez because they're the ones that have to come from behind and will only have 2 timeouts to do so. Now we'll see Father Lopez take over for second down at the Space Coast 38-yard line. This is the best field position they've had all game. Farthest they've made it down the field, so biggest opportunity for Father Lopez to score, and it's been with Dylan Tachi and quarterback keepers all the way down so far. Second down and 7. Tachi again at quarterback. 2 receivers near side, 1 far. Haven't seen a pass play yet. This one's a handoff. Trying to get to the outside. Maverick Grimm, first down and more. On a nice run to left side of the line. First down, Father Lopez. On a gain of about 12 yards by Maverick Grimm. First down and 10 now for Father Lopez to the Space Coast 23. That's a gain of 14 yards. And this whole game, the running game for both teams hasn't really gotten much traction. But on this drive, Father Lopez blocking up front's been good. They've been able to get some runs into the second level. And the Green Wave putting up their best drive of the game. First down and 10 now at the Space Coast 23-yard line. Haven't seen a pass yet with Tachi at quarterback. 2 receivers near side, 1 far. Tachi. It's a play fake and a keeper trying to get around the edge. Space Coast collapses on it. Tachi will still get 2 yards. But I believe the ball came out there. Space Coast comes up with it, but there was a flag down. But that could be huge. And a momentum killer as Space Coast comes up with the ball. The flag is waved off, and that's a turnover. I believe ball was recovered by Connor Anderson. And it is Space Coast ball. And a huge fumble recovery to turn the momentum back in the Space Coast favor. As we were seeing Father Lopez best drive knocking on the door of the red zone, and for the second time this game, it's a fumble in or around the red zone. The second turnover by Father Lopez on back-to-back drives, and that's a killer. And a fumble recovered by Connor Anderson. First down and 10, Father Lopez at their own 20, as both fumbles have been exactly on that 20-yard line by opposite teams. But that one a fumble by Dylan Tachi, recovered by Connor Anderson. First down, Space Coast at their own 20 with 11 minutes to go and a 3-score lead. And that is detrimental to Father Lopez as they were having their best drive of the game, looking to get a score on the board. The ball's coughed up and turned over in prime territory. First down and 10, Space Coast. Handoff up the middle that time. Goes for no gain. Good defense up front by Father Lopez, and they're going to have to stand tall because Space Coast is going to be looking to run the clock here. And, Father Lopez defense needs to make sure these are quick drives on and off the field. 3 and outs as much as you can. Trailing by 3 touchdowns with only 2 timeouts left in this game. Second down and 10 for Space Coast at their own 20. Zion Sandy going to roll out left. Throwing across his body, wide open down the field, but it's off the mark. Looking for Alex Banikowski, who was all by himself. And now the quarterback slow to get up on the play is Zion Sandy. As he'll get up under his own power there. As we're going to get a roughing the passer call there, as I think Sandy got the wind knocked out of him there after the throw. He'll come off the field. Holding his ribs there, not what you want to see. That's a 15-yard penalty. First down and 10 coming. It's going to be first down and 10 for Space Coast up to their own 35. I think the reason that one, fell out of range of his receiver was, well, A, with the pressure coming, but B, he kind of threw back across. He was rolling left. He's a righty throwing back to the middle of the field. So he was wide open, but, you know, it's a tough throw to make, especially for the young quarterback. So, but, hey, you get him open again like that, wide open, you know to look out for Banikowski. But due to the 15-yard penalty after the play, now with Christian Burt back in the game at quarterback, it will be 1st down and 10 for Space Coast at their own 35. And you know you got to watch Burt running the ball. His touchdown in this game comes on the ground on a handoff. 1st down and 10, Space Coast at their own 35. Man in motion, Burt with a touch pass to him. Nowhere to run, still bounces the outside, trying to turn it upfield, nowhere to go. And he's going to get driven out of bounds, and a flag is going to come at the end of that play. That's going to be a late hit out of bounds most likely, which will be 15 yards and another 1st down for Space Coast if that's the case. And I'm pretty sure it is, which is crucial. Back-to-back 15-yard penalties for Father Lopez when you need Space Coast off the field. If that is the case, then that is just brutal.
That is the call.
That's 30 yards of penalties on back-to-back plays for Father Lopez, trailing by 3 scores, already having the fumble in the red zone, but this is just kind of adding to the difficulty of this comeback. It's going to be 1st down and 10 for Father Lopez, or for Space Coast at their own 45 after the Father Lopez penalty.
And that one's detrimental because you had a huge loss on that play.
Oh, yeah. And that one ends up being a 10-yard penalty, but an automatic 1st down due to the penalty happening 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. That one's going to be a tackle for a big loss, again, by Father Lopez.
That Father Lopez defensive line and linebacking crew having a field day.
That one was John T. Loach making the play for a big loss on the running back, Cole Gamble. And that's going to bring up 2nd down and 13 for Space Coast back at their own 42-yard line. They had their last big loss negated by a penalty, but they get it right back for a loss of 3. 2nd and 13 for Space Coast. The problem is clock continues to run. Space Coast offense stays on the field. Burt rolls out left. He is a lefty, so hits his receiver on the outside. Flag comes in as it was caught by Damian Bowder, who just came back in the game, and he cramps right back up, and he'll stay on the sideline here. We also have a Father Lopez player down.
Yeah, this is that Florida humidity kicking in.
And on to the end of the 4th quarter, but cramps on both teams kind of running wild right now. After the catch by Bowder, there was a flag down. We'll look for the call here after Bowder got a solid gain of about 5 or 6 yards back.
You know, when I played at Rockledge, that we always had a pickle jar. So the coaches would constantly eat pickles in the coaching office or whatever throughout the day, and they would save and when I say we're talking the giant pickle jars, and legit you saw 2 or 3 jars of pickle juice always roaming a Rockledge sideline, along with mustard.
Number 27 for Father Lopez getting help off the field. He's not on their roster. And we know it was Damian Bowder after the catch went down on the sidelines. The penalty was on Space Coast. It looks like it's going to be, I think, a 5-yard penalty. So it's going to be 2nd down and 18 for Space Coast back to their own 37-yard line. A lot of penalties on this drive. We had 2 15-yarders on Father Lopez. Now we get a penalty on Space Coast to back them up. 2nd down and long. Burt drops back to pass. Quick blitz on a slip screen. Breaks the tackle in the backfield. Blocking out front. Cutting up field. And it's going to be a gain of 8 yards on 2nd down. It'll bring up 3rd down and 9. But there is a flag down on the play again. And we'll see if this helps or hurts Space Coast. At least for Father Lopez, it stops the clock. It's going to be another hold on Space Coast, and that's kind of what helped get all that space. And that's now going to bring up 2nd down and 27 for Space Coast. They got 30 yards of penalties from Father Lopez, and they're now having 17 back in the other direction. And again, if you're Father Lopez, the clock stays stopped through this, so you'll take it. But it is extending the drive by keeping it at 2nd down. The officials still discussing, though, after the call was made. Looks like they're marching it off from where the foul happened, but I thought it was just from the line of scrimmage. Still looking to where to spot the ball here. That's only going to end up being a 3-yard loss, so I guess they're treating it like a spot foul, which I didn't think it was. Unless that was a rule change I missed, possibly. Still 2nd and long here for Space Coast back at their own 34-yard line. Burt throws a screen pass to the outside, out in front, breaks a tackle. Running down the sideline, he's going to get most of those penalty yards back on the reception. By Alex Banikowski is the receiver on that one. It's going to be 3rd down and 12 for Space Coast at their own 43-yard line. 1st down line to gain is at the Father Lopez 45. This drive coming off the heels of a fumble recovery by Connor Anderson. Burt rolls out left on 3rd and 12, lets it fly, and that one is short, nearly intercepted. Broken up with one hand by Dylan Tachi, who's looking over the top for an open receiver. Jacob Starkey didn't get enough air under that ball, nearly picked by Tachi. If that would have gotten over the defender, that one could have been a touchdown, and Starkey was open over the top of the defense. But that's going to bring up 4th and 12 as the turnover this time for Father Lopez, not going to net any points for Space Coast. Unlike the last one. On 4th and 12, out comes Lucas Paul. Every one of his punts so far this game have been down inside the 20. For that to happen this time, we would need a 38-yard punt. And again, that one will be down at the 21. So that ends the streak of inside the 20, but pretty much it's still a great kick. Gets them, Father Lopez started back at their own 21-yard line. Last drive, they fumbled the ball right when they got into the red zone at the 20-yard line. And now it'll be 1st down and 10 for the Green Wave, actually at the 20. So, again, every single punt of the game tonight for Lucas Paul has been down at or inside the 20. 1st down and 10 for Father Lopez now, with only 2 timeouts and 7 minutes, trailing by 3 scores. Going to need a lot to go their way to make this comeback. We'll see if the Green Wave have it in them. First down and 10. Father Lopez at their own 20. They bring back in Colt Davis at quarterback. Last drive wasn't in after the interception on the drive prior. First down and 10. Father Lopez at their own 20. Space Coast shows blitz. They jump off. Now, they whistled a play dead. That could have been a free play for Father Lopez, but instead it'll be 1st down and 5 for the Green Wave up to their own 25-yard line. First and 5 for the Green Wave coming up after the offsides, as Space Coast was trying to bring a blitz. Jumped a little early on the snap. First down and 5 for Father Lopez now. Trips to the near side. Davis rolls out right. Blitz coming. And that ball thrown outside, intercepted. As it's undercut, great interception by number 15, Zion Sandy. Sandy with 2 passing touchdowns and now a huge interception, 3rd consecutive drive where we've seen a turnover by Father Lopez, and in clutch time, that one hurts the most. 2nd interception by Davis, and that ball just hangs in the air a little too long. Sandy undercuts it, takes it down the sideline, and sets Space Coast up with great territory. After their 3rd consecutive turnover, and with 7 minutes to go, it's first down and 10. Vipers, as again, this defense may be one to watch, as they've generated 3 straight turnovers here in the second half. A flag on the play is waved off. It'll be first down and 10. Space Coast at the Father Lopez 23-yard line after the interception and return by Zion Sandy. Again, 2 passing touchdowns for him and now an interception. Great night on both sides of the ball for Sandy, who I believe is a rising 9th grader. So you got a lot of time with Sandy here at Space Coast. Again, a junior senior high, so playing as an 8th grader as well. Zion Sandy's back in at quarterback following the interception. Space Coast brings an offensive lineman onto the field here. And it's going to be first and 10 now for the Vipers at the Father Lopez 23. Sandy hands off up the middle and is swarmed immediately. The defensive front brought down by Maverick Grimm and John T. Loach. And that's a big loss on that play, a loss of about 3 yards. It's going to be second down and 13 for Space Coast back to the Father Lopez 26-yard line. Still good field position, but at this point, clock management's got to be the number one thing. Space Coast looking to get out of here with a big win.
And look, when it comes to this run game, Coach Owens will rectify this run game. He'll get that offensive line, whip them in shape, and I expect them to be much better come fall.
Second and 13. Sandy rolls out right, throws on the run. It's hauled in. The receiver hit immediately. He still hauls in the pass, but not going to go for any yardage. Picks up 2 when it's all said and done, and that's going to bring up third down and 11 for Space Coast at the Father Lopez 24 on the out route completion for 2 yards on second. Sets up third and 11. Under 6 minutes to go in this game. Time against Father Lopez if they're looking to make a 3-touchdown comeback. Can really never say never in high school sports, but again, with only 2 timeouts, time not on your side, really need to stop here. Sandy on third and 11, lets it fly over the middle. It's hauled in over the middle, slant, caught, breaks a tackle, up the middle, breaks a second tackle, touchdown, Space Coast. A second touchdown for Caden Thomas, and another highlight play as he breaks 2 tackles this time on the route to the end zone on a slant route for a 24-yard touchdown. A 3rd touchdown for a Zion Sandy through the air, a 2nd by Caden Thomas. And Sandy doing it on both sides. He gets the interception to get him the ball back, finishes the drive with a touchdown pass. Lucas Paul coming out for the extra point to put the Vipers ahead by 28, and I would say that may just be the dagger to put Space Coast up by 4 touchdowns late in this game. All I got to say is I like what I see out of Space Coast tonight. And
Absolutely.
Zion Sandy and Caden Thomas could be another great wide receiver quarterback connection here in Brevard County. As Paul's extra point will be up and off the crossbar.
Hey.
It's good. The doinks off the crossbar and goes over for the extra point. 28-0 is the lead now for Space Coast with 5:34 to play in this one. Half of those points are off of turnovers. As that one off the interception by Sandy, and then Sandy throws a slant route touchdown to Caden Thomas from 24 yards out. Thomas breaking 2 tackles en route to the end zone. It's 2 touchdowns for Thomas, combined 5 broken tackles on those 2 plays. Not easy touchdowns. You got to work for him.
he's going to be a player to watch. He's gonna be on some watch lists. Again, I don't care that they're in the Sunshine State Athletic Conference. Look, the kid is making plays.
Again, you got to look at that connection. Zion Sandy and Caden Thomas, maybe some players to watch. I mean, there's a lot of good quarterback-receiver combos in this county, good duos. Another one to watch up here at Space Coast possibly this season.
And if I can make a little PSA to all coaches out there, update your Max Preps.
Please.
Listen, folks.
Please.
Max Preps allows us to have information, so when we bring you these broadcasts, well, we can give you, how certain players are ranking on certain teams compared to others, and really gives us that in-depth information that.
On top of that, we use it for awards.
Yes.
Because if, let's say, we don't get the chance to see Space Coast as much as another team, but, one of these receivers or one of these quarterbacks are out passing anyone in the county, then we can nominate these players for awards.
Correct.
And branch out. I mean, personally, I make a stat sheet of every stat on every team.
Yes.
All year. For football, it goes deep. And I know last year there were multiple teams, and I'll say Space Coast was one of them. I didn't have stats for their players. So I didn't know how good Space Coast was. I didn't know guys to watch. So I agree. And that goes for all sports.
Yes.
Football is important, but for all sports, I don't care how big or small it seems. Soccer, basketball, volleyball, lacrosse. Stats are good. That's how we know who to nominate for awards. I mean, currently we're working through our lacrosse award nominations and stuff like that. So, just put them in Max Preps. Because trust me, I know there's coaches who think you don't put the stats on Max Preps, teams can't scout you. Trust me, there's ways to find out who your best players are. It's more for us to just see who's good, see who to watch out for. It helps me with prep work. I don't have to go dig deep into news articles to find the good players. But
Well, listen, we do that regardless. I mean, look, when BSN comes and broadcasts one of your games, we go heavy, but it makes our job a little bit easier. It does.
With that kickoff went into the end zone. First touchback we've seen tonight by Lucas Paul. It's going to be first down and 10. Father Lopez at their own 25. 2 timeouts, 5.5 minutes, trailing by 28. As rolling out left, Davis lets it fly, gets it downfield, one-on-one. It is caught that time by Dylan Tachi. First down, and there's a flag because he spun the ball. So they're going to take 15 yards off that gain for Father Lopez. That's unfortunate. They're calling it both ways, but
no. Well, and that's the thing. And coach is gonna teach your guys, hey, we're down by 4 scores. You got to know when to celebrate. Yeah. Again, I get it. Football's a game of emotion. I play the game of football. And I'm an emotional high-low person. I get it. But I'm just saying what coaches will come to you and say, look, I get it. You
flag's waved off. So
all right.
They keep the gain. And Father Lopez has been looking for that connection all night. The deep ball, Davis gets it to Dylan Tachi. Big gain, 1st and 10. Father Lopez up to the Space Coast 42-yard line. And that's a gain of 32 yards. Handoff this time to Maverick Grimm. He'll pick up 8 yards. And it's going to be 2nd and short here for Father Lopez, moving down the field with tempo. Green Wave still going to look to make the comeback here. It's going to be 2nd down and 1. He did. As Grimm did fall over the line to gain on the last second effort. It's going to be now 1st down and 10 for Father Lopez up to the Space Coast 32-yard line. Now 2nd drive in a row that they've been moving down the field. Handoff, play fake, throw the screen pass, and that's going to go for a big loss. Big time tackle there. Made for a loss by, looks like, Lucas Paul, who's also the kicker, I believe, making that play from the linebacker position. That's a huge loss. A loss of 6 yards here. And we got timeout Father Lopez. That leaves him with only 1 to go with 3:39 ahead of 2nd and 16. After the screen pass to Nate Sajor, goes for a loss of 6 thanks to a big-time tackle by Lucas Paul. Like
And go ahead.
I'd like to thank Florida Breeze Air and Heat at the break, because Melbourne, Florida residents and locally owned and operated Florida Breeze Air and Heat knows the importance of getting your air conditioning up and running again is serious business. Florida summers are coming, and they are hot, and you don't want to feel that burning heat for long. That is why so many Brevard County residents trust Florida Breeze with their AC repairs on the Space Coast. Florida Breeze offers professional repair and installation services to both residential and commercial clients. With the right AC repair services, you can cut down on additional expenses and increase the lifespan on your air conditioning unit. Their HVAC technicians are highly trained and expertly install or repair your cooling unit. Florida Breeze has years of experience, which gives them insight into understanding clients' needs, which helps them bring about masterful and efficient air conditioner repair and installation services. Call for immediate assistance at 321-951-8767, and you can visit online at floridabreeze.com. Second down and 16 now for Father Lopez at the Space Coast 38-yard line. Colt Davis drops back to pass. Has time, lets it fly again into double coverage. It's caught again down the sideline by Dylan Tachi for a gain of 33 yards. First down and goal. Father Lopez, the deep ball, really connecting now, and it's between Colt Davis and Dylan Tachi on back-to-back big plays. After a loss of 6 on first down, now first and goal. Father Lopez at the 5-yard line after a gain of 33. Biggest play of the game for them, their first time inside the red zone at all, and now it's first and goal, Green Wave.
If I'm the Green Wave here, you're giving it to Tachi and kind of letting him run that that option. I mean,
yep, Tachi's in the backfield, split backs. First and goal, Father Lopez at the 5. Davis hands off to Tachi. The ball is free. And it's recovered by Space Coast. And that's the 4th turnover in a row by Father Lopez. They're second in the red zone. And that, if it wasn't over already, that's going to seal the deal in this one. First down and 10 for Space Coast now at their own 8. As Caleb, they were going to do what you were saying. They tried to hand off to Tachi. Ball comes free. And it's going to be first down and 10 for Space Coast inside their own 10 at their own 7-yard line. But 4 touchdowns with only 1 timeout in 3 minutes, especially without live kickoffs. I don't know if that's going to be possible here for Father Lopez. So 4 consecutive drives for Father Lopez, 4 consecutive turnovers, and they're all crucial. The first one was an interception off of a turnover they had gotten. The next 3 turnovers all came in Space Coast territory. So can't really say Father Lopez didn't have a shot at this. Their offense was moving down the field, but they kind of shot themselves in the foot. Not kind of, they did. And that killed it. I mean, they were able to move the ball well, and the comeback effort was there, but the turnovers kill it. That's 4 drives in a row ending in turnovers. That one a fumble. Second fumble of the game for Dylan Tachi. Second one in the red zone, as this one's going to be a keeper by Burt. Burt with a hole, room to run. First down and more, breaking a tackle. And a first down off rip by Space Coast. A gain of 22 yards, biggest run of the game by either team, as Christian Burt takes it up to their own 27. That's a gain of 20 yards, actually. Still, I think the biggest run of the game. First down and 10 for Space Coast at their own 27-yard line. After the run by Christian Burt, it's first down and 10. Burt still in at quarterback. Himself and his eye on Sandy have been switching out at quarterback. Sandy with 3 passing touchdowns. Burt with 1 rushing touchdown. Burt rolling out on the run. He's going to take off with it. Spins off 2 tackles. Burt still on his feet. Christian Burt picks up 9 yards on first down. Did he get the first? We'll see the call here. Yes, he did. Christian Burt again. First down, Space Coast. As the run game now getting set up and going. And I got to say, even if Sandy may be the starting quarterback, Burt's a guy you can bring in, I would say, on like a 3rd down and 3 type player if you want to run a read option. Not to say Sandy isn't, a good runner, but Burt's just he's a hard-nosed runner. He'll get you yardage. He's been their most effective runner tonight, as now it's first and 10 for Space Coast at their own 39. As this one's going to be a screen pass, hauled in the slot, trying to bounce outside. Good blocks, and that's going to be another first down, I think, for Space Coast. He's going to be just short, I think, as that one hauled in. First reception for Damarion Kidd. Kidd's going to come off the field after that one. as he gets up gingerly. It's a gain of 11 yards. First down and 10, Space Coast to the 50-yard line. I'll tell you, the Vipers are honestly getting better throughout the course of this game. This offense running pretty smoothly here at the end of the game. First down and 10, Vipers at the 50. 1 minute to go here from Space Coast in the spring game. Vipers looking solid to close out this game. First down and 10 at the 50. It's going to be a handoff up the middle. That one will finally get stopped as Father Lopez's front comes up big again for a loss of 2 yards. But at this point, it could be victory formation for Space Coast, which I know means a lot to this program to start out the season like this. After last season, they get their only win of the season in their final week. Now back under head coach Jake Owens for his second tenure here at Space Coast. Again, he had an 8-4 season back in 2013, and the Space Coast Vipers crowd on their feet as the clock is going to wind down here to 10 seconds remaining as the Space Coast Vipers are going to kick off the 2024 season in the spring game with a shutout victory over Father Lopez, 28-0. Congratulations to Father Lopez with a big victory here in the spring game. 3 touchdowns by a Zion Sandy, 2 of those in the air to Caden Thomas, and 1 to Alex Banikowski, and then a rushing touchdown by Christian Burt. 4 turnovers by this defense, 4 touchdowns by this offense, and a really strong night for the Space Coast Vipers as they pick up a spring game victory over Father Lopez, 28-0. And a great way to close out the spring, as again, school's out now. Happy summer vacation to every student athlete here in Brevard County. For these guys, it'll be summer workouts and getting ready for the fall. And once we come back, we'll have a lot going on this summer. We'll have some talk shows coming up, I know. Along with that, any youth leagues that want to reach out, baseball, I don't know, AAU basketball.
Yep.
Reach out to the Brevard Sports Network, because although high school sports are off for the summer, sports are still being played, and sports are still ready to be broadcasted. So with that being said, I'd like to thank our sponsor one more time, Florida Breeze Air and Heat. You can call them for immediate assistance at 321-951-8767, and you can visit online at floridabreeze.com. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Again, congratulations to Jake Owens and the Space Coast Vipers as they pick up a spring game victory in a big way over Father Lopez, 28-0. Have a great night, everybody, and thanks for watching the Brevard Sports Network, sponsored by and powered by Natwick Insurance.